here's the thing with lead vendors. What I want agents to know is that they don't do anything special that the agent can't. The only thing they have on new independent agents is they've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to build up the pixel, the data to season that account to get in front of the right demographic. This is something you can do. And the thing I don't like about lead vendors is the fact that there's absolutely no branding for the actual company, agency, or independent agent.
Today's guest has trained hundreds of insurance agents how to generate their own leads through Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram. And she's also the owner of Social Waves Media. Shauna Thorson, thank you for joining me today.
Doug, thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here and connect with you and talk about all the things going on in marketing and in Meta ads.
Awesome. Let's jump right into it. Would you mind sharing a little bit about what you do for insurance agents?
Yes, absolutely. So I first started specializing in lead generation in 2016, and I've managed millions of dollars of ad spend and worked across numerous industries. And then in 2022 is when I entered your space, the insurance space. And it all happened when I had an agent come to me that asked me to perform an ad audit. And within that 1 hour ad audit, we reduced his cost per lead for ACA and Medicare by over 75%. And I like to say that that ad audit changed everything, not just for that agent, but for me, because it opened my eyes to how, in my opinion, unethical the insurance space is for the agents. I've seen so many of these lead vendors, these marketers that overpromise and underdeliver, and these done-for-you systems that are created by design to keep agents stuck and dependent. And so that's why I launched my course in 2022, Insurance Click to Close. And since then, it's been updated numerous times, and I've been lucky enough to have the privilege to be featured at multiple different conferences and do trainings with FMOs, IMOs, and work with agencies. So it's been great. I've really enjoyed that and truly believe in the mission behind it.
Life insurance agents, if you'd like 20 life insurance appointments on your calendar every single day, all set by the clients themselves who expect to speak with you about burial life insurance, or if you'd like a copy of the free new agent remote sales file, lots of killer sales materials here, email me at doug@ufesonline.com or just click on the link below in the description. Excellent. So you're training agents on how to do this, how to run their own ads correctly, but do you have like a done for you version that you do?
So, Doug, typically when people ask me, do you have a done for you version? They're asking, can I pay you to take this off my plate and I never have to think about marketing again? And the truth is, in my experience, that approach does not work. What you're going to end up with is you're going to end up with the same generic ads that are used for all of their agents. And my private retainer clients, even though they are spending at least $5,000 a month for that hands-on support, they are very involved with their marketing, their messaging. It's their face on their ads. It's their branding. So no, I don't offer that. And solutions that do kind of remind me of the 1990s, like weight loss solutions. So I teach agents instead how to build their own foundation and build something that can actually grow over time.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about advertising. Why do some ads work while others don't when it comes to, let's talk maybe final expense, senior market, Medicare leads?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that there is the misconception that Facebook ads don't work because I always like to say that Facebook ads are a tool, just like a paintbrush. So anyone can pick up a paintbrush, you can slap paint on a canvas and say, look, I made something. While other people truly learn how to utilize the tool and everything that it's capable of. Meta makes it super easy for agents and anyone to just spend money to get their content served to their users. These boost the post, these use the Meta Business Suite, or even shortcuts like the Go High Level Ads Manager do not give agents access to all of the robust tools to actually be able to create a campaign that they can optimize. And that might have sounded super fancy, but the reality is lead generation ads are not that complicated when you know the right step-by-step process.
Interesting. All right. What are some of the common mistakes that, agents make that like ends up, just killing the ad budget?
Yeah, absolutely. So Because Meta makes it so easy to just pay them to serve your ads, a lot of agents make, I would say, the biggest mistake is only running with one ad. When you only have one ad that you're having served, it kind of locks Meta inside of a box. And I always say Meta really cares about the content they serve to their users. And it's not for a warm and fuzzy feeling. It's because they want to keep users on the platform so they can make money off of them. So if your ad, people aren't engaging with it and they're getting off the platform after interacting with it, they're going to charge you more than an advertiser that has things optimally set up. So unfortunately, a lot of agents set up their one ad. They expect the platform's duty to be to go get them the leads that are going to be piping hot and instantly convert. And when that doesn't happen, they don't understand how to make data-driven decisions and how to make certain calls that are going to actually make that cost per lead decrease over time. So that's what I specialize in teaching agents, the step-by-step process of how to properly set up their ad campaign and then to grow over time.
So you're suggesting, when an agent gets this set up and maybe they're trying to do it on their own and they go to run an ad, that they really need to be running multiple ads, testing like multiple images and maybe even video. Is that what you're getting at?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And, I'm happy to show you a little bit of an ad walkthrough. But the way that I teach agents, so there's technically 3 different levels to an ad campaign. There's the campaign, there's the ad set, and there's the ad. And I teach agents, it's like we're building a beautiful tree. So the campaign is the tree trunk, and that's going to be the roots of the operation. The branches are the ad set. So that's the audience that we're targeting. And then the leaves on the end are what they're going to actually be showing to their audience. So for example, for final expense, we might have one tree. If we're only doing final expense, we could have one tree branch be to Texas, one be to Alabama, one be to Florida, and so on. Now our ad creative can be so specific. Attention Texas seniors. This is something that many people aren't aware is available. We can speak specifically to that demographic. You also might decide that you are going to be running final expense and you're going to be running Medicare, and you want to make sure that you have different ads that are being served to those individuals. So the way that you actually set up your tree is going to greatly influence the way that your ads are served and optimized. And we always want to give Meta multiple different leaves so they can mix and match the different types of ads with the right type of user.
Well, since you offered to do the walkthrough,
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do a little walkthrough so we can all be on the same page of
I
what
love it.
a lead generation ad can look like. Now, I also am going to share with you, there are 2, in my opinion, very exciting updates that Meta has just given access to most ads managers. I want to say all of them, but I had one agent in my membership. We just got it added to her ads manager. And these are going to be game changing. So let's talk about, first of all, what the actual kind of lead generation process is. So first, you set up the back end of your account. And this is super important. I have a story of a large final expense agency that actually got screwed over, for lack of a better word, because the back end of their account wasn't set up properly. Then we're going to have your campaign, which is the roots of the operation. And then we're going to start using ads to get in front of individuals. So if someone sees your ad and they click on it, it's going to open up a form. They then can submit the form, and then they are redirected to a thank you page. Now, on that thank you page, you can either ask them to go ahead and schedule an appointment with you, or you could prompt them to call you now. Now, here's 3 actual examples. Now, these just happen to be for Medicare. We've got Medicare, what would be more of an AEP type ad in the middle. On the far sides, we've got examples of T65 ads that are actually to download a checklist. So if someone sees this ad and they're like, yep, that resonates with me, they're going to click on it. They're going to be taken to a welcome page, and there's so many different form strategies we can use here, from a conditional logic form where only certain people get through, or this right here is an example of using a reminder question so they'll know who you are whenever you give them a call. Then they're going to give you their contact information. They're going to see where that privacy policy link is, and that is how they've become a lead. And then they're at the thank you page, where we can either, one, prompt them to actually call you, or we can prompt them to schedule a free consult. And you can put your link inside of there where they can go ahead and be prompted right there on the platform. Now, this brings me, sorry, do you have any questions about that?
I don't. I love it. Keep going, please.
Okay, so the next part, this is where our new updates are that just happened. So they happen at this point in the customer journey. Now, once they get to that thank you page, they've become a lead. You have their contact information. You can download it from Meta or have it integrated in your CRM. But now we have, right when they get to submit the form, we have SMS verification. Hallelujah. This is such great news for agents because now we're not going to get any bad numbers. So let me show you what that looks like. So the user is completing the form. Then as soon as they click continue, they're going to see that they need to enter that verification code. It's very easy for the user to do it on the platform. Verify, move through that privacy policy, and just like that, they've become a lead. So that's super exciting. And then this next one, I'm very excited about, especially with the iOS 26 update. Now, in case agents aren't aware, next month, the iOS update is going to give all Apple users access to a AI screener. I'm assuming it's going to be Siri.
So when is this supposed to happen? Because a lot of the viewers are going to be watching this after it happens.
Yes, I believe it's the middle of September is what they're saying.
Okay.
The beta version is already out for people to download. I read the disclaimer and said, no, thank you. I'm not going to download that while they're testing this, but it releases the middle of September. So what that essentially does is if you are not in someone's phone as a contact, then that means that an AI screener is going to answer the call for them and is going to say, state your name and reason for calling. You're going to have 10 seconds to give a 250 character answer for it to pop up and for them to decide if they want to take your call. So it makes it even more crucial that you get in your prospect's phone as a contact and that you have access to this, which is a messenger conversation. So let me show you what that looks like. So here is the ad that the user is going to complete. So they've got the little first page. They're going to click learn more, the welcome page. Then they're going to give you their information. Scooch on over. There's going to be an extra little box that is already ticked that allows Meta to go ahead. Right there, they become a lead, and you can see the system automatically sends them a message. And all it does is it just confirms this information, and it gives an additional link right there to either call you directly or schedule an appointment. And I'm telling agents, this is your lifeline. Obviously, the fastest way to cash is conversation. And if you can't get them to answer the phone, you can get them at the very source that you generated them from. And I'm telling agents that what I would use this for is to send them a little welcome message with your actual digital card. Now, if agents don't have a resource to create an easy card, there's this website. It's hihello.com. I'm not affiliated with them, but they give you the ability to create a free, beautiful, professional looking digital card. The users click on it and it gives them the prompt to instantly click a button and you are added in their contact. So that I'm super excited about, that it provides that as the lifeline. So that is kind of the work through. As soon as someone becomes a lead, they drop into the Meta Lead Center where you can download it. Many agents choose to attach it to their CRM, so it instantly starts sending out that automation and marketing to them. And that's kind of the complete system that I teach inside of Insurance Click to Close. And what I actually am teaching agents to take control and be able to do that. And I think those two features are game changing personally.
Excellent. That's a lot of really good information. How do you think this Apple update is going to affect most insurance agents that do telesales?
So in my opinion, I've heard all sorts of different theories on this. Some are saying, don't worry about this. This is a feature that people have to purposefully turn on. I'm sorry. I think that this is one of the most exciting updates as a consumer to have in. And I'm telling you, if my parents don't know about it, I'm going to be telling them about it. And we're going to make sure that it's on. So I think this is going to be game changing, but I think that this is an opportunity for good agents that truly serve first to rise to the top. You can set yourself apart and become an advisor from the beginning. I say send out to your agents, to your prospects, exactly what's happening and say how excited you are about it, how much you hate spam, and why this is going to protect them by adding your information to their phone so that way they don't get scammed from something else. Instantly sets you apart from all of that spammy stuff. What do you think? Do you think it's going to be game changing?
We're concerned. There's some concerns. We don't know. I just can't see as the insurance agent, I can't see it making it easier for us to contact leads. So
Yeah.
that of course is always the concern. I love that you've got solutions. You are already ahead of the game. It's something like what we're doing too. Very, very similar. What are the essential metrics that like you watch when running ads for like final expense leads, for example?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's over 350 different metrics and terms in the ads manager. It's overwhelming, right? But the reality is there's only about 15 that you as an agent need to glance at. And there's four that actually tell you exactly what changes you need to make. So when you are running ads, what you don't want to do is just put your ad out there and then make decisions like throwing spaghetti on a wall. You want to actually go in, and I teach agents things like we're going to look at what the CPM is, which is how much Facebook is charging you. You're going to see if they are charging you an overpriced amount to get in front of these potential leads or if it's a good price. We want to know if people are clicking on the ad. Okay. If people are clicking on the ad, the next step is, are people clicking on the link? We want to look at the link click through rate. No, then we need to fix your ad. If people are clicking on the link, but then they're not converting when they get to the form, then we need to look at your form conversion rate and we probably need to optimize the form. So the really cool thing, and one of my favorite parts and nerdy parts of running ads, is I like picking apart every single tiny little step and figuring out how we can optimize each and every single tiny step. And then once ads are up and running, you're checking them once every other week for like 15 minutes, maybe.
Okay. Now you mentioned new features. Are there any other new features coming that maybe you haven't mentioned?
You know, the only new features that I am hearing are in the works and they're already in the ads manager is to get a little bit of AI help from Meta. And most
Hmm.
of them, I like to tell agents that Meta wants to serve your ads always and always. Like they want to be able to maximize the locations your ads being served, use their Meta AI and so on. And a lot of these optimizations are not the best decision for lead gen. They might be for e-commerce. Like, yeah, here's my lipstick, here's my demographic, change up the image, do all these things, play around with these words, but not for something that we're trying to really influence the customer journey. And with final expense, we want there to be a full customer journey right there within the ad. So they're already ready to buy and talk to you about it by the time that they get on the phone with you.
Lead vendors. I have a feeling that you and I kind of have similar beliefs on lead vendors and why agents should be generating their own leads. One of the things that if you ever watch any of my videos, when I talk about generating leads versus lead vendors, is that we're generating the same lead that they're selling for half or even one third the cost, sometimes even less. What are your thoughts on lead vendors and how they generate leads?
So here's the thing with lead vendors. What I want agents to know is that they don't do anything special that the agent can't. The only thing they have on new independent agents is they've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to build up the pixel, the data to season that account to get in front of the right demographic. This is something you can do. And the thing I don't like about lead vendors is the fact that there's absolutely no branding for the actual company, agency, or independent agent. So if an agent is wanting to be in this long term, I mean, one of the recent consulting gigs that I worked with was with a very large final expense agency. Nicest people, amazing Google reviews, having their ads being ran from a dummy page with wasn't bringing any brand awareness for them at all. And unraveling all of that and getting it set up properly was what we ended up doing with that company. You want your face and your brand to be out there, especially as we move through this trust recession that I don't really see going away.
Hmm.
Is that what you think?
I agree. I think it's going to be. I just feel like when we depend on someone else to generate leads for us, there's a cost to it. And at the end of the day, look, not everyone is great with technology. Let's just be honest. That's why there's people that do systems like the one that we run from our agency, where we kind of run the thing for the agents and manage it for them. When we first started setting up our ad funnels and doing it for agents, we were actually setting it up on their Facebook and teaching them how to do it. And that was when the trouble started. They couldn't. It was hard for some of the, especially some of the older agents that maybe my age or even older. So, to me, does a lead vendor have its place? Yeah, sure. But your ROI is completely destroyed at 99% of the time. There's going to be times when, sure, you'll buy some leads and they'll work and you'll be like, great. But chances are when you go to buy that second or third batch, it just doesn't work anymore. And that's kind of my experience with the lead vendors.
Yep.
So let's talk about other benefits. What benefits are there for agents who do manage and run their own lead generation?
So, running your own ads, look, agents are smart enough and more than capable of learning this skill set, whether they are going to be the ones actually setting up their ads or if they decide to bring it in-house and be in control of their messaging. One of the things that I hate the most about lead vendors is they typically are using dummy pages. So in other words, this lead vendor that's selling this final expense lead to you for how much? I think I just looked up this morning. Are they like $35 from a lot of? God. Okay, agents in my membership right now are doing final expense for $7 to $12. Okay. Most lead vendors are selling them to you for double, if not triple the price. And they are running it on a dummy page branded veterans final expense for all. Everyone gets final expense, whatever the name is. And then it's very generic messaging, typically saying the government has issued new funding to allow you to have your final expenses completely covered. Now the person calls you and they're like, I want the government, I want my final expenses all covered. And they're like, oh, sorry, actually, now I'm going to sell you this. Now you're just starting in an uphill battle. If
Yep.
you come from a place that is sincere, you're telling a story about my dad typically took care of everything in life, his entire life, except for when he unexpectedly passed. We realized there was something he didn't, and we were hit with an $11,000 bill that we had to take care of within 48 hours. Sharing something like that emotionally pulls people in. Or did you know that there is a simple no medical exam policy that could protect your family after you're gone? It's this simple. Take them through the steps. I specialize in matching you with a plan that is going to fit your budget and is going to protect your family. Schedule your no pressure, no cost consult right now. That approach is going to set you off from the very beginning differently from all other agents that are running ads.
All right. Let's talk about using Go High Level, because I have no idea if that's what you're teaching agents to do or if you're just keeping them on Facebook to use the Facebook form. Maybe walk us through your process and what you like, what you recommend.
So I recommend, Meta has something, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, it's called the Ads Manager. And it's their native ads manager that gives you access to all of the tools to optimize. When you choose to boost a post, run it through the regular Meta Business Suite, or you use a third-party tool such as Go High Level, the reality is that you are limiting yourself to like a kids menu at a restaurant. You still are going to pay to get your ads out there. You're still going to get food, but you're limited. And one of the things that is most concerning about Go High Level for me is you cannot break down the data based on age. And when we are serving ads to a specific demographic, with the meta special ad category, we can't lock that in as advertisers, but that does not mean that it is not still happening in the background. Facebook knows if Mary, who's 64, clicked on this ad, and Betty, that's 64, clicked on this ad, and Barry, who's 30, had nothing to do with the ad, we're going to swing it towards this demographic. And within the first 1,000 to 3,000 eyeballs that get on your ads, it needs to be swung to the right demographic, or else your ad isn't performing right. So we want specific messaging that is making people self-include or self-exclude. We want people that are 30 to hate our ad and people that are 50 plus to be clicking on it if we're focusing on this, right? So we want to look at those instead of just the general the general numbers. We want to say, what is happening with this age demographic? Oh, they're not clicking on it. We need to turn this one off and get another one going. So I hate how Go High Level limits agents from having access to the data points, the tools, the SMS verification. You can't turn that on. The messenger chat, you can't turn that on. There's a whole entire list that I have of it, actually. So that's why I say, let's use the big boy bike.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you something that's a little bit different, I
Okay.
think. One of the things that we've been able to accomplish at my agency is we're able to get a very high percentage of people that fill out the lead form to actually hit the call now button or set an appointment. So with the system that you're using, let's just talk about final expense leads. What percentage of leads are actually setting that appointment or hitting the call now tab that you're working with, the agents that you're working with? Like, about what
So
percentage are you seeing?
So I do want to make it clear, I love Go High Level CRMs for the follow-up. They're wonderful for the schedule, for your workflow, for automating text and all of those things. It's great. I was speaking specifically to the ads manager because most agents will have it instantly connected and moving forward. So I would say what I'm hearing from the agents that are inside of my membership, we've got about 200 that are in there right now. About 50% are taking the action afterwards when they're using the right follow-up. The other ones they're having to reach out to. And something that insurance agents aren't always taught is just because a lead doesn't convert like that instantly doesn't mean that they're not going to convert. I'm selling a course to insurance agents. I don't expect them to instantly buy from the first interaction they have with me. They need to get to know me. They need to see if this is something they're actually interested in. So keep that list, send them an email about once a month. You don't have to be obnoxious and kind of stay top of mind. And then every now and then say, I have openings for appointments. Obviously, if we're doing Medicare or ACA, we can have some urgency during Q4. But for final expense, you can still keep them on your list and just send that one email to everyone once a month. Super easy to stay top of mind and potentially get them to convert a little bit later.
There you go. Interesting. You didn't really answer the question the way I was hoping you'd answer it. What I'm getting at is the one thing that I feel like that what we've done that's a little bit different is that at one point, over 40% of the people that filled out the lead form would immediately set an appointment. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. So you're through the system that you're teaching agents how to do, and through the systems that you've run and managed, you do get a certain percentage of people that do hit the call now tab and that do set an appointment, correct?
Yes, that is not
Okay.
something that to be honest with you, Doug, I'm not actively managing that number. I'm helping with the agents on the front end of it, and I'm looking at the results that they're getting whenever it comes through. And the reality is, the platform is different, the branding is different. If I started managing your ads in your account that you've already gotten some sort of a presence on it, it's going to be a different experience than very first starting with a brand new account. It's called seasoning the account, and it's a real thing because the algorithm sincerely gets to know your account and who's going to respond best to. They want to match you with the right people just as much as you want to be matched with the right people. So I try not to overpromise because I don't want to underdeliver. And I tell agents, like, you're not going to be a unicorn. We're not going to set one campaign and it's done. We never think about it again. We're going to work through some things and then we're going to be able to have campaigns that are running for months on end without having to actually touch them. So it's a long
Excellent.
term commitment, honestly.
Excellent. And that's one thing I believe in. I look for in every agent is a long-term commitment all around. So excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. What do you suggest a final expense agent does if they want to learn how to generate their own leads?
Well, if they're ready to learn, I would highly recommend that they check out my course, Insurance Click to Close. I'm not the right mentor for everyone. Christian Brindle always says she's not the Ozempic of ads. I'm not walking you through, like, here's how we set it up. Here's the one magical ad. I'm teaching you literally how to bake the cake from scratch and how to have it turned out predictably, and then how to make changes in order to have it be exactly what you personally want it to be. So this is bigger than just meta ads. This is about learning how to take control of your marketing and your messaging, which is literally the fuel that you need to go anywhere in this business. So I would say check it out. I've got a whole entire thing on the information page. I've got lots of different reviews. So take a look at that. You'll be able to see inside what is taught. And one of the things that's different is I offer lifetime access. So once you're in the course, you're never paying ever again for all of the updates. My agents that have been enrolled since 22 will vouch for me and will always say, yes, she's always updating the course the moment that Meta has an update. And my most recent updates were February, and then July of this year, I shut down what I was doing, focused on updating the course. So it's always fresh and they're ready for agents whenever they need it.
Shauna, a lot of great information, and I want to thank you again for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Doug. It's been really fun. And I truly believe that every agent is capable of doing this. They just need the right step by step process. So don't give up just because it's not fun and you don't get results immediately. It's something that's worth committing to.
Bingo. Have a good one.